Hey everyone, welcome back to Pretending with Dice. As always, I'm your host and game master, AJ. Welcome to our first episode of 2024. We hope you all had a really great festive season. It was, as always, busy for all of us, and we took our traditional couple of weeks break over the festive season just to try and unwind a little bit, and we hope it was restful for all of you as well. But we're back at it now with the next chapter of our D&D storyline. Being as it's the start of the year, I don't have any major announcements for you all at the moment. We'll see what develops as the year goes on. But yeah, we'll go straight into a recap of what brought us to this point in our D&D storyline, and we'll get right on with the new episode. I know we've kept you waiting for this one over the festive period. So we first met our trio of heroes. That's Booga, Miri, and Kirik on the road, heading towards Colton's March, away from the freezing northern coastline of Valana. In the middle of the night, they were awoken by a speeding carriage, and the following morning discovered a grisly scene in the woods, where there clearly had been some incident happen involving said carriage, potentially. They fought off a weird demon-y creature thing that they were unable to identify, which clawed its way out of a tree, before taking the lone survivor of this incident to the nearest inn on the outskirts of Colton's March, where they got some medical help for her. Deciding what to do next, they pretty much had a short discussion before deciding to head further into the village, the town itself, to sort of see what they could find out about the incident the night before, and maybe just kind of get their lay of the land. That's pretty much where we left off last time. So yeah, without any further ado, we'll get into today's episode then. Enjoy.
Okay. Well, I suppose if we step out of the inn, what are we faced by as the day is starting?
Yeah, the sun has definitely come up a bit more since you arrived here. We can probably say it's basically probably been about an hour since you arrived. We sort of skipped over a little bit of conversation and that, didn't we, with the priestess and things. But yeah, the sun is now up. It's still a little bit of a bleak winter day, but it's now at least a bit more light out here. And the first thing you see is that you're kind of still sort of on the outskirts of town. Not the biggest of towns, but you're definitely not in the main square. But this is definitely still the King's Road. It's quite wide, sort of thoroughfare, and there's a few sort of houses and buildings set back from it on the other side of the road facing you. But you can sort of see a few larger buildings off to your left, which you would guess would be towards the centre of town. There's a few kind of little side roads heading off of it, a short distance away. But yeah, most of the buildings around here have got a nice sort of dusting of snow on it, but it's definitely, like, compared to in the countryside where when it snowed, everything is snowed here, the road here is a little bit more churned up, and the presence of, like, houses with fireplaces and things, I mean, it's just a little bit warmer, and things just, it's not quite as fully unblemished snow, So certain fires of some of the snow around here is looking a little dirty where there's been smoke coming out of chimneys and stuff. So yeah, you definitely,
picturesque.
It's picturesque. It's nice. It's a nice little town, but you're definitely feeling like, oh, we are back in civilization a bit, especially after a day or two of sort of camping out in the middle of the the woods and things. Mm-hmm. So that's what faces you when you step outside the front door.
Hey. Anybody got any preferences?
This is not a port town, is it?
No,
you're inland. You're kind of almost you're heading towards the sort of foothills of the Silver Peak Mountains, but even that's still a mile or two away. So you're kind of on the plains a little bit. You can't really see the main river from where you are either. There's a sort of small stream which you wouldn't. I would get. You can't see from where you're standing, but you would know there is like a little bit of a stream that comes out of the mountains. But so you imagine that is going sort of near to the town somewhere, but from where you're standing, no, you're kind of a town in the plains. The forest is visible that you just come out of, and looking to the south as well, you can also see another bit of forest heading off that way. But yeah.
All right, yeah. So, let's go see if anyone's making things. Like a smith or something, or like I don't know, a tailor or something. Just I like to watch people make things.
Sounds good to me. Who knows what kind of wares they might have.
Okay, so as you sort of turn and head towards what I guess would be the center of town, the first kind of business that you come across isn't in the town square. It's on the same road that you're on. As you go past the first few houses, suddenly you've got a little bit of an open space to your left. There's a fence going along it, but there's definitely a sort of gateway that you find yourselves passing. And you look inside, and there seems to be a few in various states of repair looking carriages kind of parked in lines, and as you look up, there is actually a sign above the gateway which says Trusty Williams Used Carriage Emporium. Not much signs of life at the moment. As I say, it's still fairly early, but it's this is the first thing you find. And as I say, that they're in kind of various sort of states of repair. There's a couple of nicer looking ones, but there's definitely a few that are like missing wheels, and have got like, there's one with like a huge chunk that's been taken out of the door and stuff, and there's missing panels and things. And there's like a little sort of shack at one end of it, which with a sort of what looks to be somebody's idea of fancy lettering on it, but it is a little bit sloppy, that says office.
So noting this then as we're passing, then Booger's going to turn to the rest of the gang and say,
Oh, it could be interesting or useful for us to pick up one of these used carts for the rest of the journey. I'm not sure I want to walk the rest of the way. These shoes are already starting to wear through a little bit.
You don't see any sign of horses in there, I will say.
Just a thought for now.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just painting the picture here.
I think we're probably thinking the exact same thing.
That they might have gotten the carriage here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. So they also might have gotten, the carriage here, the one that we saw that went really fast.
Oh, of course.
Well, Booger cranes his neck trying to spy movement or signs of anybody. Let's see if there's somebody around, a salesman perhaps. Somebody who can fill us in if they do know anything, and at least give us a price, if at the very least.
So I think we go over to the office, their fancy office.
All right. No real signs of movement as you head through the yard, I will say. You do get a bit of a better look at some of these carriages. And as I say, there's a couple of nicer looking ones, which definitely seem, I don't know, at least ones you would trust on a longer journey. And every single carriage you pass, though, no matter what state they're in, has a sort of a wooden kind of placard that's been sort of lent on it in one way or another that has a variation on the words like bargain or great deal or like best deal in town and certainly has all four wheels and things like this.
Card history available upon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Probably 0 deaths involved. That one's hidden away. That one needs a rewrite, I think.
These are all really reassuring.
Yeah.
With a big asterisk next to it.
Yeah. Inquire at office sort of thing. But yeah, no signs of anybody moving about in the yard. But heading to the office, I take it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are you trying the door? Are you banging on the door? What's the move here?
Does anybody want to take the lead necessarily?
Yeah. I'll just try the door.
Yeah. Okay. So you go to basically just before your hand reaches the handle, the door is pulled open, and there is a halfling in front of you in quite a, I guess I want to say, a little overdressed. I will say he's got a really nasty looking suit on. Like, as in, like, it's kind of fancy, but it doesn't fit in very well, and it's like a kind of slightly too bright purpley colour that definitely doesn't really fit in with the rural setting of this town. His hair has been slicked back with, you're not entirely sure what, but it doesn't look that healthy. But it's definitely like an attempt at like, to kind of unify the look as like, hey, he thinks he looks cool, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he maybe has seen you coming, and he's opened the door, and as your hand is reaching towards the handle, the door is pulled away from you, and suddenly, instead of the handle in your hand, you have this halfling's hand as he shakes your hand and goes, "Welcome to Trusty Williams. How can I help you with your carriage needs on this fine day?"
Oh, hi. We were looking to see if we could find
a new carriage.
Yeah.
I have many. Well, no, I don't have new carriages. I have fine carriages, though. Better. Some would say better. They've been worked in. They know that they already know they work. They're heavily used. No, not heavily. They have been used, lightly used, and well taken care of. I can assure you.
Well, new to us. Yeah. We were also wondering if you had seen someone come through here really fast, and if someone had bought a carriage.
Many people buy carriages from me. I'm Trusty William.
Well, like,
they know I'm the best place to go, and I'm sure they all go very fast as you need, faster even.
Well, yesterday we found this woman, and she looked like she'd been in a carriage that was traveling really fast, and then she was by the side of the river, and she'd been attacked, and it seemed like they had stolen the carriage.
Oh, that's nothing to do with me, I can assure you. I'm a legitimate businessman.
Oh,
yeah,
no, that's not what we just want to know if you know anything about it.
No, in fact, I wasn't even here yesterday. I was visiting my uncle.
Who was here yesterday?
That would be my boy, Thomas.
Where's Thomas?
He's still asleep. He's got no get up and go in him anymore. This early in the morning, we could have had 2 carriages sold already, and he's snoozing away. What the lay about?
I guess, because sleep is important. So I guess, do we want to wait until he wakes up?
No, I'll go wake him up right now. He steps into the office, and you just hear like indistinct kind of loud shouting in the back. It's good the office goes back a little further than it looked from the outside. It's still a shack, but like there's definitely a back room that you just sort of hear like, "Thomas, get up!" Blah, blah, blah. Eventually you hear like he comes back and goes, he's coming now. Maybe he can answer your questions. In the meantime, maybe I can show you some of our fine carriages. We put you in one of them today. You grow out of here happy customers.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess we could, we're traveling south, so we could do that.
Good. I have carriages to fit every budget. What sort of price range are we looking at here?
Not a lot.
Oh, well, that does limit things a little bit, but I can still accommodate you. And he turns away from the nicer looking carriages towards ones which I can definitely describe as not great looking. A little bit run down, missing a roof here and there. Definitely not an enclosed, comfortable ride. Mm-hmm. More on the cart end of things as opposed to a carriage, I would say. And missing paint and things like this. This one here, this is a classic. Very much in style, 40, 50 years ago, but it's coming back into fashion.
And if we needed to get something to pull the cart, I guess, like a horse or something, is there a stable nearby?
Well, if I'm perfectly honest, a lot of people tend to bring their own horses to this arrangement, you know what I'm saying. Maybe you ask around town, found something suitable to pull the cart for you. Bit of free advice though, you're going to want to stay away from those scumbags over at Trustworthy Johnson's Discount Horses. He spits on the ground.
Everyone's really, really trustworthy here, it sounds like.
A lot of people are. It's a nice town, but there's one exception to that. Trustworthy Johnson, son of a bitch.
So,
Wait, is there a second shop called Trustworthy Johnson's Carriages?
No, we are Trusty William Discount Carriages. We sell premium carriage experiences for the low price. Perfect for every customer. They sell horses at a knockdown price. They fall apart before you get them out of the yard. Completely different business.
I'm surprised you don't get into business with each other, but if he's not that trustworthy, I suppose it makes sense.
We a funny story, actually. We did used to be in business together, and then, well, he ran away with my wife. A bastard.
Oh,
dear.
Started his own business selling horses, of all things. How do you change a wheel on a horse? Who knows?
I'm surprised he didn't run a little bit further.
Well, truth be told, hard to get far without one of these fine carriages.
I see. Yes, business, of course. I can see where your focus in life is.
Yes. Oh, look, here comes Thomas. So, yeah, there's a quite sleepy-looking halfling, definitely younger-looking, comes out of the office. He's pulling on what looks to be a smaller version of the same type of suit. It doesn't look particularly comfortable. He comes like, "Hey, can I help you? My father said you wanted to talk to me." William smacks him on the back of the head. "Yeah, that's not how you talk to a customer. You talk to a customer with cheery, welcoming demeanor, otherwise they don't buy carriage. No wonder your mother left."
Brutal.
He stands up a little bit straight. Goes, "Hello, welcome, treasured customers. How can I help you? My name Thomas."
Oh yeah, we found some people outside town, and we were wondering if they had, we saw that there was a carriage that had gone by real fast, and we were wondering if anyone had bought a carriage here yesterday and left in a hurry.
Yesterday. What was I doing yesterday? He sort of scratches his head. I don't think I sold any carriages yesterday. I sold a nice pair of new spinning rims to Mr. Gladys for his fancy carnival carriage, but I didn't sell a carriage itself.
Oh, maybe we should go and at this point I've turned back to look at Booga and Carrick. Maybe we should go to Trustworthy Johnson and see if they know anything. I'm kind of keeping my voice down because I saw how we reacted to Trustworthy Johnson before.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. If nothing else, they might have some idea about this carriage. I have my doubts now. If they didn't buy this carriage here yesterday, then they probably just rode it straight through town, but we might need horses ourselves, and let's find out how trustworthy this one is.
And I'll turn back to William and Thomas, the halflings, and be like, "Oh, we're going to shop around a little bit, and I think we'll give you a decision. We might come back and give you a decision later, but we're gonna, look around a little bit."
Okay, but you struggle to find deals as good as us here anywhere in town. We'll see you later on for a pleasant business transaction and a wonderful new carriage, used carriage. Still wonderful though. We'll see you later on.
Yes, good day to you. Thank you for your time.
Of course. He sort of turns to his son. You sort of hear him muttering, and you hear the words, "You got to upsell. You got to get the spinning rims and the carriage. What is wrong with you?" As they sort of head back to the office.
Well, we'll head off then, I suppose. Towards the next trustworthy encounter.
Okay. so you head out of the yard then, leaving. I mean, I guess you've ruled out the possibility that a new carriage was bought here. I suppose so. That's yeah.
So that's something. It does seem like they've just ridden through town, that they already had this carriage. There's a possibility they got a new horse, but we'll find out.
So are you continuing to head towards the town square? I mean, you're looking up and down. It doesn't look like Trustworthy Johnson's is, it's not like directly opposite or anything like that. It's I mean, that would be funny, but it's not.
That would be, he'd run not far at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They bought neighbouring yards to each other and there's just a fence separating them. No, I mean, get the feeling, if anywhere, Trustworthy Johnson's is maybe the other side of town.
What's close by then, kind of, as we're going then?
If you continue up the road, you will get to the town square. As I say, there's a few houses dotted around alongside of the road here, but in terms of sort of points of interest, you can definitely see there's a sort of what looks to be like a kind of church spire type thing in the centre of town. Definitely visible from where you're at, and a few kind of larger 2-story buildings in that direction. So that's definitely going to be maybe where things are going to be clustered a bit more.
Okay. So yeah, let's head that direction.
It's not a long walk. As I say, it's not a big town really, but you find yourselves in. I guess again, I keep using the word picturesque, but a kind of picturesque little town square here. As Hamish had said, this was maybe going to be market day normally, but it being winter, it's not. But you can see where there's quite a wide sort of open space in the middle of the town square with a small fountain in the middle, which is frozen over. But there's quite a few businesses sort of lining the square itself, as well as I said, kind of a sort of not huge, but sort of sturdy looking town kind of temple. But it's not the only one. As you look around, there's actually a couple of extra smaller kind of shrine buildings, which are not as big as a huge temple, but they definitely have got like religious symbols on the outside. They're more sort of like single plot things as opposed to the larger temple. But yeah, there's a few sort of businesses here and there. I can list a few if you would like.
Sure.
Yeah, and in particular, I think Booger will keep an eye out. It's not likely, but if there's a book vendor or somewhere that looks like they would sell books, he's curious.
Okay. That's probably a better way to do it, actually, is to say, like, so what are the kind of things you would be looking for more than anything? But, yeah, there's a sort of quite large general store kind of looking place, which is, you can see a sign that says the March Provisioner, which you can sort of see from the outside. There's a bit of everything. There's a couple of sort of stands on the outside that have got some goods kind of piled up. They're not covered in snow, so they've maybe only just been put out there. That's definitely open now. In terms of looking for like a bookseller, there is definitely what looks to be a sort of more of a... The closest you can see is, I guess, like a sort of curiosities shop. Again, sort of looking... There's windows on the outside, does seem to have some shelving things inside. You can't... It's a little bit dark in there at the moment, but there's definitely... That's what strikes you as the best possibility for that kind of thing. There is another inn, although this one sort of looks more like a kind of just general sort of town pub rather than like a kind of coach inn. And that's a sign that says The Pig. There's a pretty chunky looking pig on the sign, which seems to be winking at the painter. And there, what else is there? I mean, well, what are you looking for? I can tell you whether there's something relevant, I guess.
Well, I mean, I guess Mary will turn to Buka and Carrick. Well, if somebody came through really fast, maybe someone in the pub knows who, they saw the person.
It's a fair point. I think it will be pretty reasonable to ask everyone we meet if they heard or saw anything. I'm curious about this curio shop over here myself. I don't know if we want to split up maybe, or if anybody else is as curious as I am.
You've read the word curiosities and you've gone, that does make me curious.
Yep. One track mind. Yeah. He's a fairly simple guy.
Next to the curiosity shop as well, I will say there is a what looks to be I'm trying to think how to describe this. There's a sign with quite bubbly writing. I would say, like it's not the attempt at fancy writing that Trusty William made. This is definitely designed to maybe appeal to town children and stuff, and it says The Sweet Tooth, and it does look like it's some kind of chocolate shop. See, there's like a subtitle that says confectionery from across Valana and beyond, with like 3 exclamation points on it.
Kirik's stomach growls, and it's loud enough everyone can hear it. It's noticeable. He looks slightly embarrassed.
A full-on growl.
Yeah.
Am I detecting a sweet tooth over there, Kirik?
He looks slightly embarrassed, and he runs a hand through his you're pretty sure that he should not be able to run his fingers through his hair because they're kind of curly and wild. I do like sweets.
We've got time to kill. Nothing's stopping you.
Is it open? Or is he just going to bash into a closed door?
We can probably say at this point, yeah, like things are kind of opening up here. It's definitely sort of the start of the day in terms of like business is opening up. But yeah, I'm not gonna. I'd be real harsh if I told you all these places. I'd be like, but you got here too early, so good luck. You know. No, it's we can say things are kind of opening up here. Yeah.
Okay.
You might be the first customer of the day though if you do go in.
I think he's actually going to hesitate. I think we have business first, and then dessert.
Business first, chocolate later.
Is it about lunchtime?
Oh no, it's still morning. I'd say probably about 8-9 a.m.
Okay. You wanna? We could go to the pub and get some, I don't know, snacks, and then maybe get some sweet things.
It probably still hasn't been that long since you had your porridge. But if you wanna. This could definitely be like just like a food outing the whole day.
Well, I must admit my curiosity is very strong, and he's staring at that sign.
It calls to you.
We could all split up.
I mean, I like curiosity.
I won't take long, I promise.
Yeah.
No, we can go in. It's all right.
Well, if you want to come with me then, and Burger starts walking off towards the door. Let's go and have a look and see what they've got.
Before we go in, I forgot to say when you were first looking at it, the name of the store is emblazoned in quite fancy lettering on a dark background above it, and it just simply says Heinrich's Curiosities and Curios.
Well, we'll head in, and what are we met by?
Okay, so the first thing you're met by is quite a strong smell of incense. As soon as you step inside, it's candle lit in here. So it's a little dark, even though it's light outside, but like there's no kind of chandeliers or anything really lighting up the space. It's definitely the owner, if you would guess by the sign called Heinrich, is definitely setting a mood here, and the mood is ooh.
Miri immediately sneezes.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. It's quite strong. It's definitely like you would maybe like one thing of incense to just give a room a thing. There are several things lit around the room, giving like a little bit of a sort of smog of incense in here. So as you step in, a little tiny tinkling bell rings as the door opens, and you can see there's shelves lining the walls. There's also kind of shelves splitting the room in two, like a kind of double-sided thing. It's quite small in here. It's not a big building at all. So it's very much, I don't know if you've been in those sort of like quite pokey little shops that are like, here's a bunch of stuff in different piles and you've got to kind of squeeze your way around them. Mm-hmm. And that it's kind of got that vibe. I'm not saying it's untidy. I'm just saying it's a little bit sort of small in here. And at the back there is like a sort of desk, sort of counter thing. As the bell tinkles, from behind a beaded curtain emerges a man in a robe who sort of bows his head and says, "Welcome to Heinrich's Curiosities and Curios. How can I help you this wonderful morning?"
A pleasure to meet you. I take it you're Heinrich.
That I am.
Well, I'm here to peruse some reading material, ideally. I don't know what kind of stuff you might have.
Books on the occult, faraway lands, unknowable horrors beyond comprehension. We also have an almanac and several mass-market paperbacks.
I think the latter end of your selection is probably where I'm going to be perusing today. The unknowable horrors and everything, probably best to keep those unknown. Let's have a look at that almanac, and Booger will just, get into having a look at that if he gets past it.
Yep, sure. As you approach, there's kind of clearly a shelf that's sort of books put together. Some of them are definitely got some quite scary looking titles, like Magical and Mysterious Beasts of Far Ravad and Terrors from Beyond the Deep and such. Definitely sort of designed to kind of take in maybe people who are like, oh, what is out there? And I want to slightly scare myself. But what he gets out in front of you is what looks to be last year's edition of Hobus and Hammerstamp's All-Purpose Almanac, which is probably one of the more widely distributed books in the kingdom. But this one is last year's one, and in that it's it's only saying useful things about last year, really.
I think Booger will just start perusing this, and as he is, he'll just casually start chatting with Heinrich. Say, so how long have you been running this shop, Heinrich?
7 years.
A good long time to get established. What's the local town like? Do you get much interest from the locals, or is it the travellers that seek your fares?
The locals have little appetite for some of my offerings, but travellers such as yourselves are of a more curious nature.
Of course, I was very curious, just looking at your shop. Nice sign you have there.
Thank you. He lights another incense thing.
Scanning through this almanac, is there anything pertinent to anything useful? Like,
I mean, yeah, it's a useful book. It's just kind of quite a widely distributed thing. It's basically like it sort of gives like it's like a sort of reference document for farms and things. So there's like tide tables and like weather sort of things, seed planting dates and stuff, religious events, phases of the moon, that kind of thing. And then there's just a bunch of articles written by people from throughout the country.
Okay. How much do you want for this almanac? Looks like there's a few good articles in here.
3 silver.
Done deal. Can you break a gold?
I can do more than that. I can give you the change after I've broken it.
Oh.
Sorry, it's hard to make everything sound mystical. Yes, I can break a gold.
Oh, well, that's all right then. I was starting to worry for a moment there. You're quite the ominous sort.
Thank you. I try my best.
Miri has been looking around at all the little trinkets and gewgaws and stuff like that. And
yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. A lot of little bracelets, and there's like quite a lot of crystal things, I will say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, obviously this guy's doing good business on crystals. There's a kind of mix and match thing, but then there's lots of little pendants and things which aren't outright claiming to be magical. They're just heavily implying it.
Can Miri roll Arcana to see if anything is magical?
Arcana, I guess, would be more of like a knowledge, like it would have to do detect magic, I think, to really like
investigation or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do, if you want to do an Arcana check, it would sort of be like that. Would be like, does your knowledge of magical things tell you whether any of this stuff is legit or not? I guess would be a way of doing it.
Okay.
But to actually detect the magic, you have to use the detect magic spell, I think. But yeah, if you want to do an Arcana check, you can totally do that.
Yeah, no, Miri does nothing. I rolled a 3.
Okay, yeah. It's tough to tell. I mean, some of this seems... Yeah. Some of this could be magical.
Yeah, it's already shiny.
Some of it clearly isn't, I will say. Some of it clearly isn't. But, like, there's some stuff that... Maybe it's just the presentation, but you can't be sure.
Yeah. So, anyway, Miri's gotten kind of bored, so she comes up behind Buka, and she's like, yeah, Heinrich, sir, did you see anyone coming through town really fast?
I see many things.
Well, there was a person who we think was coming through town really fast, and they weren't stopping. I don't know if you saw anyone. There was a young woman.
When was this?
Yesterday.
Not that I can recall, no.
Okay.
I would say, out of kind of character and things, like, given the time that, you saw the Russian carriage, and the distance between the place that you found the injured woman and the bodies and the town, it would have been quite a late at night occurrence.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's okay. I mean, like, it was kind of like, okay, there's nothing in here to, like, play with, so.
I mean, there's quite a lot to play with, I will say. There's all kinds of things, and there's like some dream catchers and hanging things, which I guess would Miri find those a little bit intriguing.
Ooh, yes. But I'm trying not to break everything right now.
That's totally fair.
I think, like, Miri is sort of, like, barely contained, trying to, like, because she knows that she's supposed to be good.
Yeah.
And not break everything, but she just wants to, like, play with everything.
Yeah, I mean, the stress level, the longer you're in here, the more stressful you're finding it, because it's like this, again, like those things are calling to you. Like, as much as the sign outside saying curios and curiosities call to Booga, as like, oh, they might have stuff in here. Now that you're in here, seeing so many things that could be easily batted is...
Yes.
It's like the urge to bat is only rising.
I wish to touch everything.
I think Booga sees a certain amount of antsiness from you and catches eyes with Kirik and winces a little bit and puts the almanac in his backpack, and then looks over towards Heinrich and goes, I think my friend here is getting a little bit excited about some of your bits and pieces around here, but we should probably make our way. Thank you very much for your business today. Do try to be a little bit more welcoming. You're not that bad of a chap, it seems, but you do give off the weirdest vibes.
Don't tell me my business, sir.
Okay. And at that, Booga will give him a nod and look to the others and kind of, are we ready to go then?
Yeah, Kirik is gonna put a hand out and, like, just on top of Miri's paws before Miri can get really involved with the particular dream catchers. It's just a very gentle gesture.
Yeah.
And then he starts kind of guiding her out of the store.
Mm-hmm. Was Kirik keeping an eye out for anything in here, I would say, before we step out? Or
I think he was just kind of looking at some of the crystals.
Yeah.
And nothing spectacular, really. His mind is really on maybe the shop next door has chocolate-covered oranges.
Oh right, yeah. You've got you're preoccupied with the possibility of chocolate. Yeah. Okay, I thought before we shuffle out, that was yeah. So yeah, as you head for the door, you do catch out of the corner of your eye Heinrich sort of stepping backwards through the beaded curtain again, and you think you might hear a sigh as he does, just like a.
I've worked in enough shops. I know that feeling.
Yeah.
The customer service sigh.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Okay, back in the town square, there's a few more people sort of wandering around now, I will say, and as you do, you see a couple of carriages sort of making their way slowly through town as well. It's clear now the day is sort of getting going. There's a bit more traffic on the road, there's a bit more kind of people out buying things and such. Because as I say, this is kind of like a bit of a town on a junction kind of thing, so there's quite a bit of hustle and bustle, I will say, now that it's getting into the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
Where to next, then? Are you still wanting to get some sweets?
I mean, you could always get something for later.
I think I can wait.
Okay.
To the pub, then. Let's keep asking questions.
Business first, yes.
Yes. Okay, so you head in towards the pub that is in the square, which, as I said, is seems to be called the Pig. And it's kind of a bit of a different vibe in here as you step in. It's a bit more of as much as like the other one, the Rolling Wheel, seemed to be like a kind of inn, but like a coaching inn. You know, people stop there. It's definitely, it's a tap room under that, and you saw Troki there, obviously drunk at 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was. This is very much seems to be this is the pub the locals go to, the one in the town square. Much sort of smaller. There doesn't seem to be much kind of in the way of like accommodation being like advertised. this has the vibe of this is the town pub as opposed to this is a place for accommodation and things.
Okay.
So yeah, as you step in, there's a few people drinking. You get a kind of the look of like, hang on, we'll say it doesn't like screech to a halt, like stepping in and suddenly everybody's drinks sort of scrape and music stops and everyone stares at you. But you do get a couple of like sort of odd looks and like there's some sort of grumbling comments made between under their breath of some people and some like sort of comments made, not for your own ears.
We distinctly hear more tourists.
Yeah. Some of you bloody tourists coming in here taking this guy isn't even trying to kind of cover his grumbles.
Right.
This is a guy leaning on the bar. He looks like a little bit of a rough character. Just more of them coming in here. This is our own pub. They got their places. The barman sort of just gives them a sort of like, oh, calm down kind of look. Sort of thing.
As we approach the bar, Booger, hearing this, kind of sidles up next to the guy that's making all that noise, and furrowed brow turns to him and just and straightens his kind of jacket as he does, and then says to the barman, "Good day to you. We're just traveling through."
The guy standing at the bar goes, "Fucking keep on traveling then, why don't you?" The bar.
Did I hear that right? And Booger reaches out and grabs him by the collar. Like, how big is this guy? Booger's a pretty big guy, so comparatively.
I mean, this guy is probably 5'11".
Okay, I think that's a good, reasonable. Like, Booger's quite a bit taller.
Yeah.
So yeah, grabs him by the collar and pulls him up a little bit. I suggest you watch your mouth. And he pushes the guy back down into his chair. And then again straightens the jacket. Yeah, so where were we?
Barman reaches out, puts like a quickly, like without saying anything, just grabs like a club from under the bar and just puts it on the bar quite heavily. So we don't want any trouble.
Mary looks super excited. Maybe performatively worried that something was going to happen, but like very much, oh no, something's going to happen.
Oh no, the vibes in here are hostile all of a sudden.
Kirik is not performatively worried. He is like legitimately concerned, and he's clutching his quarterstaff like, oh, okay, here we go.
just stretching your neck, like limbering up, like, okay.
Yep.
Is this happening?
Seeing concern in your faces, Booger's a little bit taken aback at his own aggression in that moment. Oh, my apologies. Did you not hear what he said? We can't stand for that kind of talk.
No, I support you. I'm just, that happened fast.
You basically walked up to the bar and went, "You got any fucking problems?" And he grabbed the guy.
To one guy in particular, and it seemed like he did have a problem. So.
The barman, as I say, has not taken the club off of the bar, but he's sort of eyeing you warily as if to, like, and he's kind of glancing back and forth, like, "No trouble. We don't want no trouble."
My apologies, sir. It seems like you're a patron there. And he looks over to him. Bit of a loud mouth on that one. You should probably have a word with him about the travellers that come through here. It seems like surely that's part of your regular business.
A little bit. Mostly they go to the other pubs, though.
I don't suppose you had anybody passing through here yesterday, perhaps in a rush?
Everyone's in a rush to get through here.
Well, there isn't anybody around here that's particularly like a night owl of sorts. It was late at night when this carriage passed through. Anybody that was up late, I mean, I suppose they'd be in bed right now, but...
Well, mayhaps you can ask our barmaid. She's not in for another hour or so. She was locking up last night.
Okay. Turning to the others. Well, shall we have a drink or two and wait for this barmaid? We could probably do with loosening up a bit, to be honest.
That sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Kirik nods and just sits down. And I think Kirik is going to sit between our group and everybody else. So if they're like on the side of the bar, Kirik is going to sit in the middle as sort of a bookend, a little buffer.
Just kind of putting up like a wall in between. Yeah.
Yeah.
Barman says, "Well, what'll it be then if you're waiting?"
it just like a cup of ale, please.
All right.
Yes, likewise, right here.
Same, please.
You quickly get served 3 kind of watery pints of ale. It seems it's a one-size-fits-all, at least. Given the slightly aggro vibes you came in here with, this isn't the most welcoming reception you're being given.
Kind of sit and quietly drink our pints, then I think. Side-eye everybody.
Yeah, there's a different... Like, the guys... you see the barman sort of grumblingly talk to the guy who, was making the comments and that, giving him like a... I mean, what you gather to be a kind of like, I told you before, kind of keep your mouth shut. Look, you're causing trouble in here. And there's a bit of an argument back and forth about they ought to be in their own pubs. This is for us lot, sort of thing. Bear in mind, this is like 10 o'clock in the morning. People on other tables don't seem quite as aggro towards you, but they're not really coming over to chat with you or anything. They're definitely sort of chatting amongst themselves, and then people kind of drifting in and out as you wait. A little bit of time goes by, and a quite sort of hurried-looking barmaid comes in. I'd say about an hour after, so he was quite accurate. Human. She sort of is tying on like a kind of apron as she steps through the door. So sorry, I'm late. She steps behind the bar. Barman sort of they're chatting a little bit, and he says, You just about catch him saying, folk over there was asking after a carriage or something last night. You didn't hear anything, did you? Maybe go talk to him. She sort of glances over in your direction, a little bit sort of, not warily, or a little bit warily, because, you're unknown to them. And she steps over and says, can I help you?
Yeah, we're just wondering if, like, last night you saw any, anybody come through the town really fast. We found some people who'd been attacked outside the town, and the carriage seemed like it was going really fast. So we were wondering if there anybody had come through last night.
Don't know about fast. I did see a carriage going through the square when I was locking up last night. Seemed a bit later than normal for that kind of thing. Seemed to be going at normal speed though, heading up the King's Roadway.
Did you notice anything about the carriage or the people in it? Anything?
No, curtains were drawn. Ryder had a cloak and a hat on. Top hat, I think. Yeah. Sorry, I don't know more. I only noticed it as I was locking up the pub.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anything else I can get you? Sorry, I couldn't be more help with that. But
do you have any snacks?
I'll go see. We got some pork scratchings and potato chunks.
Okay.
She comes back with just like a bowl of like mixed like food that you probably wouldn't eat if you were sober. That kind of vibe food.
Right.
Yeah, some like hog knuckles, I guess.
And Miri's sort of like picking through.
Yeah.
Like, just kind of, with a finger.
A lot of it looks like it's been kind of fried. Just like fried chunks of stuff. It's like bar snacks, but it doesn't look like they're not like messing with you. You do see someone on another table has got a bowl of stuff and they're just kind of picking at it. This hasn't got like the kind of we also do food restaurant-y vibe. This is very much like this is a drinking hole kind of thing.
Okay.
I think Booger wrinkles his nose at the sight of this. He's a bit picky with his food. Like, it's certainly not the kind of stuff that he would be making while he's out, like, in the field, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look healthy food. It's not. It's.
Oh, you enjoy your hog knuckles there. Bit of an acquired taste, it seems. We're not doing very well with this information about this cart. It doesn't seem like anybody around here really kind of paid much attention to it.
I mean, do you think maybe we should, like, go the same way as it was going? We saw it going? So, north. That was back north, though, right?
Yeah, that's the way we came. I have a terrible feeling that if that was... I couldn't have been the people that committed this heist, surely. They would have... How would the news have gotten back to us before they'd escaped in that direction? Surely that couldn't be the case. But then magic, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just saw what I saw while we were camped or whatever. So
My gut feeling is that we should press forward and make our way onwards and find out exactly what happened, what was taken, perhaps where it's gone. That may set our minds at ease eventually, or maybe we'll be full of regret, but we've got to find out one way or the other.
I just want to recap some details real quick then. So, the barmaid saw a carriage which sort of would line up about the right time when she was locking up the pub. Mm-hmm. It wasn't going fast, and the carriage driver she described had a hat on. The one that you saw later on when you saw a carriage speeding by didn't have a hat on, he had a cloak pulled up.
Okay. But I mean, I can sort of assume that was the person. If they'd taken the carriage right outside the town, it might have been,
Very well might be the same carriage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of lines up in time-wise, that's what I'm sort of saying.
Mm-hmm. So I think we just have to wait for that woman to wake up.
Seems so. Well, we should... Do you want to kill a little bit more time? The candy shop's waiting.
Kirik's head pops up.
Miri's completely mystified by Kirik's, because cats can't taste sweet. So Miri's completely mystified. But if Kirik wants to do it, she's like, "Yeah, sure, let's go to the sweet shop."
So I might get a thing or two myself. Let's see what they've got.
Okay, so stepping back out into the square, let's say it's again. There's a few occasional carriages going through and people hustling and bustling around. As you head towards the sweet shop, you actually go past one of the sort of smaller shrines, and you can see as you pass actually the priestess who helped you earlier, Priestess Arla, is inside, just sort of. The door is open, even though it's a cold day. She's sort of a welcoming kind of presence. She is in there, sort of lighting some candles and such. You get a closer look because you didn't really ask her, but she is a priestess of Istus, the goddess of fate and destiny. Which, being this is sort of traveling, there's a lot of travel going through here. That's why it sort of makes sense for there to be a shrine there. Looking over at the other shrine, kind of the other side of that, you can see it's to Isuna, the goddess of trade. The main temple, with this being a rural setting, is to Shantea, the agriculture goddess. But yeah.
Oh, there's the priestess who helped the lady. And Mira's just gonna dance over and go into the. You said it's a building.
Yeah, it's a sort of small shrine. It's not outside. It's kind of it's just a sort of small. It's basically like a kind of shop front sort of sized. Entranceway. It's not like a full separate temple building. It's more just like this part of it is the shrine to Istus.
Okay. So yeah, Mira's gonna like sort of skip in and be like, "Oh, hi, hi, you're the priestess who helped the lady that we found, right?"
I am. How are you getting on?
We're good. I was wondering if that meant that she was awake.
Well, she's sort of sleeping when I left Amish's, but she seemed in an all right state. Probably just needs a bit of extra rest.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Are you turning around and leaving, or are you?
Yeah, I think
fair enough.
Miri, that's what Miri wanted to know, and so she's like, okay, I'm done now.
So as you kind of head out, you just hear behind you, bye. Blessings be with you.
And I'll look over my shoulder and be like, bye. And then continue on my way.
Okay. So yeah, that's she just sort of watches you go, and you see a sort of if anybody's looking into, then she goes back to lighting the candles and things. So, the sweet shop. As I said earlier, there's a sign that says the Sweet Tooth confectionery from across Valana and beyond, with 3 exclamation points. Compared to Heinrich's Curios and Curiosities and Curios, which is, as I said, right next door, this is a very well lit shop. There's sort of lines of candles on like a sort of not low hanging, but like well placed chandelier that's nicely sort of illuminating the space. With the walls are kind of light painted, and there is a again sort of very friendly, sort of quite well dressed, but like quite friendly, sort of beaming smile wearing human behind the counter. As you step in, says, "Hello, welcome to the Sweet Tooth."
Hello. What do you have that's from beyond?
Beyond? Oh, all sorts of things. Well, just this morning we got in a case of these. And he holds up a jar which is labelled bonbons in flowing script. He says, "All the way from Ashala, the capital city of eternity itself." He turns back to the shelf behind him, grabs another thing. "These, not my particular favourite myself, as you can tell from the name of my shop. I have more of a sweet tooth, but these are sour pops, all the way from Onus." Turns back, puts the jar back on the shelf again. Very quickly turns back to you with arms full of boxes. "These massive assortments from the Kingdom of Aurelia. Oh, they do love their chocolate there. Oh, yes, they do." And as you look at it, the whole place is full of like all sorts of different chocolates and things. It's yeah, all kinds of sweets and things in different barrels and stuff. And yeah.
Regardless, Keurig is super excited to be there. I think like we've seen Miri's pupils expand and dilate when she's excited. It's almost the same thing for Keurig. Like if he were cat-like in any moment, it would be this one.
Yeah.
All right. What's your favorite?
My favorite? Oh, well, I am partial to a caramel surprise.
Oh.
And he holds up one of the, like the sort of spherical, definitely chocolate covered things, but spherical, sort of slightly textured kind of balls of chocolate. It's the surprise. He leans in like conspiratorially, got a little bit of a grin on his face. The surprise is the caramel is inside.
I think Keurig's just gonna plunk his gold bag on the counter.
Just put it down. Just fuck me up, dog. Just give me this.
Yeah, basically.
Take my money.
Ooh, I see sir also has a sweet tooth.
Oh,
Shall we go on an odyssey of chocolate?
For a second, he seemed like he was going to take the bag back and like reconsider, but then you said that, and then he just like nods wordlessly.
So he grabs like a large, like a paper bag for you, and it says, "Let us go on a tour of the lands through wonder and sweetness." And he sort of picks out a few things, or he sort of is saying that he thinks, like, from each place that he thinks you will enjoy. And before you know it, you've got a fairly bulging bag of chocolate in front of you of all different types, different sweets here and there. And he says, "Now then, I'm afraid the small matter of the bill." You notice at this point he's been kind of keeping small notes as he's been going. "I'm afraid an assortment such as this is going to cost Sir 5 gold.
I'm not even going to pretend that I was not going to spend that much money anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah. So, that's very well. Thank you very much then. And he, I guess you count out 5 gold, and he hands over, and it, as I say, quite a bulging paper bag. It has printed on the side, "The Sweet Tooth, confectionery from across Valana and beyond," and underneath it just says Town Square, Colton's March. And then in big letters, "Tell your friends." And he sort of leans in again conspiratorially and says, "Enjoy."
I'm so excited. Thank you. And he clutches the bag of chocolate very preciously, and like almost like the bag of gold, like he takes back, because that was about half of what he had.
Yeah.
He takes that back almost as a second thought. Like, this is clearly not the priority anymore. And he
Yeah.
shoves that unceremoniously in his bag, but he's very careful with the sack of chocolate.
Yeah, like forget the gold. The objective completed. Chocolate has been acquired.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair as well, that is quite an expensive lot of gold. A lot of chocolate, because 5 gold would probably get you like several days stay in an inn. And that.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
I think so. Kirik is so used to just being out in the middle of nowhere and like staying outside that just being inside of an inn is a huge step up. And this is probably the biggest splurge that he's done in who can actually say how long.
Yeah. You got to treat yourself once in a while.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, what's the thought now? Heading.
I think
I don't know.
back to the tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, as I say, it's a short walk back to the tavern. As you pass Trusty Williams again, you can see him in there trying to buff the one bit of paint remaining on the side of a carriage and sort of breathing on it, give it a wipe with the cloth. But the rest of the carriage has no paint left on it. You know, he's trying to make the best of a bad situation. He doesn't see you passing, thankfully, because you got the feeling he would have tried to sell you that carriage.
Yeah.
And you quickly arrive back to the rolling wheel. You step inside. There's a few more people in here now. Again, not quite the frosty reception that you had in the Pig. Hamish sort of looks up as you enter. Oh, well, welcome back. Did you find everything you needed?
Yeah, we found a bunch of stuff around. We didn't really find anything about the carriage or anything. So the woman that we found was, we were wondering if she was awake yet.
Well, I haven't had a chance to go up and check on her yet, but I don't think so. It's at this moment, though, as you're asking, that there's a creak on the stairs. As I said earlier, the stairs are kind of to the left of the bar, so you kind of get a view, as you hear this, of suddenly movement on the stairs and slowly kind of awkwardly making her way down the stairs, sort of shakily holding onto the banister. It's still in the clothes you found her in the forest, obviously. Kind of wide-eyed looking around is the young woman that you found. Still quite pale, and she's just got a look on her face of, I don't know how I got here. She's just sort of taking in the bar settings around her as if she doesn't really know what she's seeing.
Oh, there she is. That right now, and she's gonna, flounce over and say, "Hi, you're awake. How are you doing?"
As you face her, it takes a second or two for her vision to kind of find your own eyes. It almost looks like she's having trouble focusing. And when she does, though, you see a look of growing horror, growing realization, as maybe a memory comes back to her. She opens her mouth to speak. They stole my face. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time on Thursday, January 25th for the next chapter of this story, and we hope you'll all join us for that. In the meantime, you can find links to all of our online presences, including our Discord server, our Ko-Fi page, our merch store, and much, much more at pretendingwithdice.com. So yeah, for now, that's our show. We hope you all enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.